Hello everybody, here is another video for you guys. This time it's an updated list of my Dragonmaids, my Dragonmaid deck. It's the Dragonmaid control variant, not the combo-ish deck profile that I showed a while back. But I'm really excited, man. Super excited to share this list with you guys because this deck does a really good job of adapting, and it's proven itself. It's definitely proven itself as being, excuse me, a decent, a very strong. I believe, in my opinion, a tier two deck at least. It's like one card away, just one card, maybe chambers like dragon form will take this to like tier one stat. In the OCG it's doing very well, which is insane. But they do have the pot of disparity, and I feel like that card's definitely pretty good in the deck. But this deck is just an insane control deck. It's really good. It's an insane deck at grinding as well, and out grinding your opponent and snowballing, and it's insane. Once this deck starts to snowball, it's crazy. I took this deck to locals on when was it? It was Tuesday, and it did really well. I bricked hard the last game of the final round, which is terrible. I mean, I wish I had that bad luck earlier in the tournament, but all the bad luck hit me at once, unfortunately. So I got second place, but it was a small tournament, but it was pretty good. It was still very good. I didn't. I mean, I opened up well, like most of the tournament, so can't really complain. There might have been some things I could have done differently, even with the brick hand. I could have possibly tried to survive another turn, maybe had another chance the following turn, but it is what it is. Let's get right into the list. I'm very excited to share this with you guys. Always got to show off the chambers, man. Chamber, starlight, beautiful. Love my starlights. So we have three chamber, starting off with the dragon maids, obviously. Three chamber, three parlor, and then one nurse. Okay, and then two of the big dragon maids, one earnest, one lore par. I think I was running this in the last list I showed off as well. So three chamber, three parlor, best normal summons. They're one card heretic seals. I think that's the most important thing. Is heretic seal is just it's an insane card in this deck. It's so powerful. I think it's arguably the best. Heretic seal shines the most in Dragon Maids because of the sheer amount of advantage it gains you just from one card. Excuse me, just from one card. It just you plus so much off that card. So anyway, Chamber searches you all your spells and traps, your Dragon Maid spells and traps, and then Parlor sends anything. Nurse is a really strong one up because of Heretic Seal. It's pretty decent to hard draw it as well. Lore Par and Earnest are pretty good. They have their own uses. Their discard effects are pretty useful, but mainly I do like to run them just to bounce back my smaller dragon mates, so I maintain hand advantage and get big bodies on board. So it's really strong. I wouldn't really change anything from this lineup. I don't run kitchen just because um, kitchen is she can do one thing by herself, and so basically she can like get a big body, so she could like add lore par, send lore par, and then during the battle phase she could just bounce herself back to summon the lore par. But I didn't feel like I needed to open up kitchen with like an extender to be able to really gain enough value off that card. It's a good card. It's a good dragon maid. I'd rather play another normal summon, which is three black metal and one red eyes darkness metal. So darkness metal is the target for black metal dragon. And the reason I choose this over the kitchen is because you can normal summon black metal, link it off into striker dragon, search darkness, special darkness, revive the black metal, and you have heretic seal that way. Whereas if you open up the kitchen alone with no extenders, then unfortunately you can't get into heretic seal that way. So again, Hieratic Seal is a very, very strong, very powerful card. I definitely would always try to turbo out into that Link 2 just because it gets my engine going. Even if I don't have access to Dragonmaids, if I draw black metal and I'm able to summon Hieratic Seal, after I tribute Hieratic Seal to bounce something back to the opponent's hand or their extra deck, then Hieratic Seal will activate to summon a Dragonmaid from my deck. So again, it gets my engine going. So I definitely like playing the black metal. Sometimes I even search the darkness metal, and I won't even summon it. I'll just keep it in my hand to use for Shao, to fusion summon to summon Shao. So it has its multiple uses. And then I run the white dragon and black dragon. These are just really good extenders because they replace themselves, and then they help you just turbo out into your guard dragon plays. And again, being able to summon like your guard dragons, LP and Pisty, it gets you access to your Dragonmaid engine from the deck, which is really cool. And then for the last of the dragons in the deck, we have 2 Noctovision, 1 Tempest. Noctovision is an awesome extender. Once you if you summon any dark dragon, it just special summon itself from the hand, and then it has 3 really good effects. Like all its effects are really strong. The first one is to special summon itself from the hand, so it's a really good extender. The second effect is if it's linked off. If it's linked off, you could draw cards or it replaces itself. And then the original effect, the top of the text in the beginning is actually its third effect technically. So whenever your face down cards would be targeted by a card effect, you can banish this and then negate the activation. Is it to negate the activation? Target face down cards, quick fire, you can banish this card, negate the effect. So not the activation, but it negates the effect, which is actually decent because if they have a card that can be activated once per turn and you negate the activation, they could potentially activate it again. So it's nice that it negates the effect. So it stops cards like Twin Twisters, Cosmic Cyclone from your so you could protect your back row. In addition, so it has that graveyard effect wasn't even necessary, but it's just so nice to have. Then Tempest, again, just a very good extender. It's level 7, so we can use it to fusion summon for Shao, and also it has another purpose in this deck. And we run Gold Sark, and if you banish it off Gold Sark, then you could search for Parlor, which is really cool because that means that because we play Gold Sark and we have 3 Parlor, so that's technically 4 copies of Parlor, which is really cool. And lastly, for the monsters, I run 1 hand trap, which is Ash Blossom. I still feel like Ash Blossom is probably the best hand trap against like any matchup because it hits everything. It always does. Always does. It's always. I don't feel like this hand trap is ever dead against any matchup. And I understand that Ghost Bell is pretty powerful right now, but I didn't want to cram in more hand traps because it's already a 43 card deck, and I felt like there were other more important cards to play. So I just went with Ash. Next up for the spells, starting off, we have 3 Hospitality. Shoutouts to Hospitality for somehow being a $30 card. Sucks. That's what happens when a card doesn't get reprinted, though. I would play 3 personally. You could get away with 2 for sure, just because it's searchable. But having access to 3 is pretty nice because if you draw this card, it helps you extend to play, through hand traps. And it also doesn't target, so it could special from the hand as well. So on resolution, it'll special summon the monster, and it's a foolish. So if you special Parlor or Nurse, you'll send Ernest or Lorpar. So it's pretty cool to help like thin out your deck and get those dragons out of your deck is really good. And then 3 of the World Legacy Guard Dragon. This is one of the best extenders. If you open this up in any dragon that you could normal summon, even if you open this up in Nurse, you have technically what's full combo in this deck. So it's just really strong to have access to both these cards. Again, this card is just insanity. Like if you open this up in Parlor, if you open up this and Chamber, and even if you open up this with Nurse, like Nurse, which does nothing without any setup in the grave, it will still be enough with World XC Guard Dragon. And then we have, actually, let me save the one ups for later. And then we have three Chaos Space. So this is Chaos Space is just to search our White Dragon and Black Dragon. And then it's really cool that it has that graveyard effect to draw one. You could recycle White Dragon and Black Dragon. You could also recycle your extra deck monsters, which is really good. And it's just a really good extender. And now moving on to the last three of, we have three Book of Moon. So I'd rather play Book of Moon than an additional three hand traps, only because Book of Moon is, again, it has like these really cool interactions where you could of course, you could book your opponent's monster and prevent them from link summoning, Xyz, Synchro, which is really strong. And then you could also bait out negate. So, like, say they have like cards like Boral Savage or uh, Boral Savage or Hope Harbinger, anything like that, any Xe Synchro fusion that negates anything, you can beta or negate Mechaba. So it's really cool that you'll have that one for one, and also if they have like Vanity's Ruler, that's why it's very important to play Book. Actually, it's because of like cards like Vanity's Ruler and Winda. You could just flip them face down, and that way you play around that floodgate where they prevent you from special summoning, so it's really strong. So that is it for the three ofs. Then we have the one ofs, which is one changeover, one Ravine, one Fool's Burial Goods, and one Gold Sark. So these are very strong one ofs that you play in the deck. Gold Sark, again, you banish. It's just here for Tempest. So you banish the Tempest, and then you search for Parlor. So Gold Sark is your fourth copy of Parlor. Foolish Goods is kind of like another copy of Parlor because it could send like Tidying, or it could send Changeover. So but it's really good because it acts as an additional copy of Changeover and Tidying. So it can be an extender, and it could be again a second copy of Changeover. And then Dragon Ravine is just really good. We play Romulus in the extra deck, and it's cool to have access to Ravine because Ravine can actually help you unbrick your hands technically. Because if you draw if you even draw this card and you have like Tidying in hand, you could use Ravine, discard the Tidying, and then send any Dragonmaid from your deck to the graveyard, and just like that, you have access to your Dragonmaid engine, which is really cool. That's why I think it's definitely worth it to play this card, especially because it's searchable with Romulus. And then Changeover. Also with Changeover, you could also like discard Changeover with Ravine, and then Changeover will you could use Changeover's effect to target a Dragonmaid monster you control, bounce it to the hand, and return this to the hand as well. So that's really cool. And then Changeover at 1, I feel like it's definitely enough, just because like Chamber searches it, and then Parlor sends it to the grave, and there's just like multiple ways to get access to Chamber and Parlor with different cards, including like Ravine. So I think it's definitely enough. I feel like if you play 2, I don't think it would mess with the consistency at all. So if you feel better playing the card at 2, you can definitely play it at 2. But I always felt like it was just good at 1. If you hard draw this, it's also cool because that way you could search other cards with Chamber, and you could send other cards with Parlor as well. That is it for the spells. Lastly, we have 4 traps. They're all Dragonmaids. We have 3 Tidying and then 1 Downtime. Tidying, as I mentioned before, is probably one of the best traps ever printed for an archetype because it's a disruption first, and then it's an extender during your turn. So the disruption during your opponent's turn, and then it's an extender during your turn, which is absolutely insane. And then again, having access to this card in the deck, you can normal summon Parlor, send this, and because you have access to this card now, Dragonmaid Tidying, now Parlor becomes a 1 card, a Hieratic Seal. It also specials. It's like hospitality, where it can summon from the grave or hand, and it doesn't target. It just like it's so busted. There's nothing bad about this card. There's absolutely nothing bad about this card. Like it being a trap is actually like so good because it's better than it being a quick play spell. Like yeah, granted, quick play spell it would be better going second because you can activate it. But the thing is, because it's a trap, when you send it to the graveyard, it becomes it become you could activate it during your opponent's turn, which is so relevant. So especially when you're playing like during the battle phase, this deck takes advantage of the standby phase. It does stuff during the main phase. It does stuff during the battle phase. It does stuff during the end phase. It's so good. It's like there's like so much synergy when it comes to like all these cards that we play. It works so well. So moving on to the extra deck, we have two Shao, one House. Shao is good at one because it returns itself back to the extra deck when it negates, and the reason we play two House is so we could resolve Shao twice. Shao is what negates your anything your opponent activates, card or effect, and then it gains you advantage during the standby phase by reviving anything from your grave or special summoning something from the hand. And then House is your card that you rely on during the battle phase, because when you start bouncing your little dragon maids back to hand to summon your big dragon maids from the grave, then House starts to shine because she starts to pop your opponent's monsters. So you're gaining advantage, and then your opponent's losing cards, which is like it's insane. Having Shao and Hieratic Seal, ending with Shao and Hieratic Seal, is an insane amount of advantage. It doesn't seem threatening at all, but if a person knows what dragon maids are capable of, then you know how powerful Shao and Hieratic Seal are together. Hieratic Seal by itself is insanely powerful, but to have Shao and Hieratic Seal, that's most of the time that's like game. And now we're gonna move on to the links. We have a couple of link ones. We have Striker Dragon, we have LP, we have Pisty, and then lastly we have the Salmon Grey Almirage. All these cards are necessary. Almirage is very strong. It shines because of World Legacy Guard Dragon. So any dragon and World Legacy Guard Dragon, because of Almirage, become like full combo. What is full combo in this deck? And I'll actually show you guys a combo tutorial with World Legacy Guard Dragon. I've showed it before, but I'll show it again for anybody that's never seen it. Striker Dragon is good because it's that's what Striker Dragon is what makes Parlor, Chamber, and Black Metal Dragon all one card Hieratic Seals. The only reason that without burning out your LP and Pisty, Striker Dragon it's the reason that you're able to make Hieratic Seal, which is really strong. And then LP Pisty, obviously they're just busted cards, summoned from deck, summoned from grave, or banished, which does come up. Actually, what's cool with Pisty is that if you have, say you open up like World Legacy Guard Dragon and Gold Sark, when you activate Gold Sark, you're gonna banish the Tempest, and then later on in your combo, you're with Pisty, you could special summon back that Tempest. So if you needed access to like a level 5 or higher for Shao, then Pisty can get you Tempest back. And then it'll get Tempest in the graveyard, so that means you could use Tempest again to banish two dragons and then summon itself back during the same turn if you needed to like link climb for whatever reason. So yeah, all these four cards I feel like are definitely necessary. Almirage is just too good not to play with World Legacy Guard Dragon. If you open up like any of the dragons that you could normal summon and World Legacy Guard Dragon, this card becomes insane just because it says that it's one normal summon monster with 1,000 or less attack, and because its pointer is, to the bottom right. For the link twos, we have arguably this and Shao are the best extra deck monsters. It's really hard to choose between the two, which one gains you like. For me, I would choose Hieratic Seal over Shao because Hieratic Seal is good against like it can bounce back your own cards too, which is insane because if you do the combo with World Legacy Guard Dragon, you'll have World Legacy Guard Dragon face up, and if they try to I don't know, like board wipe you, or try to do something where like they normal summon like a weak monster and they try to attack to bait this out, I won't even bounce back that monster. I'll bounce back my World Elixir Guard Dragon, summon Parlor. Parlor will dump Lorepar. This is all during the beginning of the battle phase, by the way. And then Parlor will activate its effect, putting itself back to my hand, summoning the Lorepar. Now their weak monster can attack over Lorepar, and I have World Elixir Guard Dragon in my hand, and I have a Parlor because of this one card. So it's this card. Oh my god, it's like it's crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. Dragunity Knight Romulus for the Ravine, and also if I want the 2 pointers for LP and Pisty, and I don't want to like burn through a Hieratic Seal, then it's nice to have Romulus get the search, get the pointers. Twin Triangle Dragon is one of the best Link 2s. I kid you not. It's a card that allows you to link climb when you're trying to push for game. So like it takes 2 level 4 or lower dragon type monsters except tokens, and then on summon, when it's link summoned, you summon a level 5 or higher dragon type monster. It can attack, can activate its effects, but that is not relevant because you're just gonna use that monster to link climb. But what is relevant is when you have a Noctovision in the grave and you summon this card, you could bring back Noctovision. When you link this card with Noctovision off, then you'll get to draw a card with Noctovision. So you'll get like so much value because Noctovision is going to replace itself, and you got that body for free anyway because of Twin Triangle Dragon. So this card, whenever I'm pushing for a game, whenever I'm trying to push and like link climb, I go into Unicorn, spin something back, then I go into Axis Code Talker. Oh, just it's so crazy. Crossroads is because we play Almirage, and with the combo with World Elixir Guard Dragon and any like dragon you can normal summon, Crossroads it comes up 100% because it's 2 monsters with different types. That's what it takes to summon this card. So Almirage is a Cyberse, and you'll use like LP, so that way it's a dragon, so you could still summon it on while LP's on the field, and then because it points this way, you'll summon Pisty right here, so you'll have the same. They'll point to the same zone, so that way you could activate the Pisty. And then lastly, for the Link 2, we have Phoenix pop back row. It's really cool because like, say like if you're trying to like say with the Twin Triangle Dragon, you summon back a monster, and then you have access to another monster, and then you co-link it, use Phoenix, pop something, draw a card. So those all these interactions come up, and like you'll be so happy that you had access to all these cards because you'll find that you're not losing any card advantage when playing all these cards. And then lastly, for the 2 links, we have 1 unicorn, and then we have 1 Axis Code Talker for our link 4. Again, when you're the following turn, when you're trying to push, you'll have like baby dragons, like baby dragonmaids, and or like or black metal dragon, whatever the case may be. You'll link into this. You'll summon back like Lorepar, Darkness Metal, anything, just so you could link climb, and then you'll link climb into a unicorn, and then most of the time you'll have Tiding Engrave. You'll have access to your hospitality because you searched it during your opponent's turn, and then it becomes so easy to you just link climb into Access Code Talker. And then because you play Romulus, because you have Hieratic Seal, because you even play the Almirage, these are 3 monsters with different attributes. And then of course, like earlier, you'll be if you did the combo. If you did the combo with World Elixir Guard Dragon, it's not just with World Elixir Guard Dragon, but like most of the time, if you do your combo, you'll have 4 different attributes in the grave for Axis Code Talker. So you'll have 4 pops: a light, wind, fire, dark. You'll have 4 pops with Axis Code Talker, and it's a 5300 attacker. That's it, just so busted, so busted. Anyway, that is it for the deck profile, guys. If you guys want to stick around, I'm going to show you guys how to combo with World Elixir Guard Dragon, how insane it is if you open up like this card and like even a nurse, like just to show you that even opening say like nurse, which does again, it does nothing if you have no setup in the grave, but with World Elixir Guard Dragon you have like multiple disruptions with these 2 cards. So you're going to normal summon the nurse, and again, having access to Almirage is what makes this possible. So this is our hand. We're gonna link the nurse off. We're gonna summon the All Mirage, activate the World Legacy Guard Dragon, summon back the nurse, link nurse off into your LP, use World Legacy Guard Dragon, move the LP, and now they point to the same zone. You're gonna use the LP to summon your Dragonmaid from the deck. In this case, I would summon the Chamber, assuming that we have like nothing else. Chamber effect will activate, and I'm going to search the tidying. Okay, we're gonna search the tidy. Where that's not tidying. There we go. Here's tidying. So we're gonna search the tidying, and now we can go into Pisty. All right. Okay, and then we could link Almirage and LP into our Crossroads. Again, this is why we play Crossroads, because we need to have access to a dragon. And we could use Almirage to link this. That's why, because it's two monsters with different types. So it definitely does come up as you see right now. And then we're gonna activate Pisty's effect. And with Pisty's effect, we can just summon the nurse. And I'll show you why we summon the nurse instead of Chamber. And then we'll link these two off into Hieratic Seal. Okay? And then we have the tidying, right? So we have two disruptions. Sorry for the glare. We have two disruptions in the form of Hieratic Seal and tidying. And this board, I'm telling you, it's so freaking scary to people who know what this board is capable of doing. But if you, to the naked eye, to people who don't know what this deck does, what Dragon Maids are capable of, how they snowball, how they gain so much advantage, this, oh my, it's insane. Because during your opponent's turn, you know, like you could bounce something, right? So you're gonna bounce the nurse back to the hand, okay? So your opponent lost a card. Say if they summon an extra deck monster, you put it back to the extra deck. So your opponent lost a card, you gain Nurse back. And Nurse is your monster reborn, right? Nurse, when on summon, it'll get back the Chamber. That's not where it stops. So, say your opponent does try to do the whole normal summon, oh, I'm going to just attack over Hieratic Seal to bait out its like, you know, effect or whatever. You're going to tribute, right? You're going to bounce back your own World Legacy Guard Dragon, okay? Because it's not worth it for you to bounce back that monster unless it's very crucial that you do. But if they're simply just trying to attack over the Hieratic Seal, then you'll just bounce it back. Hieratic Seal will act. So remember, as soon as they enter battle phase, this is when you need to do all this with Hieratic Seal. You're going to summon the Parlor, right? And then Parlor is going to activate still during the beginning of battle phase. You're going to send the Lorpar, okay? And then you're going to activate Parlor's effect. We're still in the beginning of battle, and you're going to summon the Lorpar. Now they can't attack over this. If it's a monster that they actually want in the grave, and you know it has like a really good graveyard effect, then just put Lorpar in defense because it's 1700. And even if like their monster's like 1800 and they attack over this, it doesn't even matter because you've already done used Hieratic Seal. It's served its purpose. The purpose was for you to gain enough advantage for the following turn, and they used up their battle phase. So keep in mind, you know you're not dying this turn. So next turn, right? So like say they set up, hypothetically, say like after you've bounced something back and after you've used Hieratic Seal, say hypothetically they do set up like a multiple negate board. All right, multiple negates. I'm just saying this whole combo. I want you guys to keep in mind that right now we have these three cards and we have a Tidying Engrave, but this is not counting the other three cards that we started with. Okay, so if your other three cards were other extenders, this definitely changes it. Or like other hand traps or like Ash Blossom, Book of Moon, stuff like that. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. This is all off two cards. Like with Tidying, with Hieratic Seal, this is all off two cards. Not even like, it doesn't matter what our draw is gonna be. I want you guys to realize like what this hand is capable of. We have Tidying can summon from the hand or grave. Okay, so say if you wanted to bait out a negate with Parlor, right? Say you normal summon Parlor, activate effect, they negate it and destroy it. Doesn't even matter. You have World Legacy Guard Dragon. Okay, activate World Legacy Guard Dragon. Target the Chamber. Okay. Oh, okay. So they'll use their other negate, right? You'll banish the tidying, summon the nurse. Okay, nurse effect to revive the chamber. Chamber effect to search. You could search anything. You could search another tidying for if you want, because with these two cards, you could make Hieratic Seal, or you can make a Shao, which is crazy. Um, so you could search. You could also search changeover for the following turn, not for the following turn, for this turn, because it's still during. This is all still during your main phase, obviously. And then say like if you wanted to, you could go. You can go like battle phase, and then use Chambers effect to revive the lore par. And then if you could attack over anything, you'll attack over something. Like say it's like a Mechaba, like 2500. If they burn through their Alistair or whatever, and or like whatever the case may be, it's 2700 attack over something, and then during your main phase 2 you can activate the changeover and then fusion summon into Shao, or you could just make another Heretic Seal. It all depends on what the situation is. And then Shao is again like the insane advantage you gain off this card. So again, during your opponent's standby phase, look how this deck snowballs. You're gonna summon your nurse with Xiao, and then you're gonna summon Parlor, and then Parlor's gonna send something else. Parlor can even send another tidying, which is so busted. It's like almost it becomes nearly impossible for your opponent to catch up. And I just want you guys to see like during your turn, or yeah. So say you dump the tidying, right? And during your turn, again, it just becomes so easy to OTK because you're gonna link your two little dragons off into Twin Triangle. Twin Triangle is gonna revive the lore par in your grave, okay? And then you're gonna go into a unicorn, right? And then you could just send the chamber, spin something back. You're going to banish the tidying, summon chamber, activate chamber's effect, search hospitality, and then link these two off for Axis Code Talker, Axis Code Talker effect, target the unicorn, 5300, and look what's in your graveyard. You have a fire, you have a dark, you have a light. So you have 3 pops, you have 5300, 3500. And if at any point they try to negate any of like your moves, you have Shout to negate. Oh, and during your turn, like so during your opponent's standby, you'll revive something. Then during your turn, if like they didn't bait the negate out, during your turn you're just gonna summon something else with Shao because it's during each standby. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile and the combo, the explanations with like certain interactions, follow-up, stuff like that. I really love this deck, man. This deck is so good, and I can't wait until we get Chambers dragon form, man. Like it's just gonna be so crazy. I'm so like excited to see what the dragon form will do. I hope it's not trash. I hope it's actually like a decent card effect. I have ideas of what the card effect could be, but yeah, let's just hope for the best. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care and peace.